Now let's jump across the Atlantic to our next speaker. Rick joins us from Metro Transit, the transit authority for the city of Minneapolis and St. Paul's in the fine state of Minnesota. Metro Transit is another long-time customer of Ubisense, and they've been working hard on delivering improvements to the service that they offer to their citizens. What's interesting here is that these services rely on a great deal of technology to make those experiences seamless and efficient for the passengers. But once the buses return to the depot at the end of the day or when they finish their route, they need to make the tasks for their operations, maintenance and dispatch crews seamless and efficient too. Rick is going to share the history of what they've been doing with Ubisense, about how they're tracking the real-time location and movement of buses across their depots, and how it's improved over the years and what they've learned along the way.
Thank you, Steve. I'm Rick Paulson. I work for Metro Transit. I'm the business system analyst here in St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we have a short video to show what Metro Transit's all about.
In 2016, Metro Transit introduced a new type of bus service called Bus Rapid Transit with the opening of the Metro A line on Snelling Avenue. Bus Rapid Transit, also called BRT, is a package of transit enhancements that adds up to a faster trip, more frequent buses, and customer amenities at the stations. First, let's look at how the service is faster than standard local service. Stations are spaced farther apart so buses make fewer stops, which helps buses stay moving more of the time. Ticket machines at stations and mobile apps allow customers to purchase tickets before boarding. Our buses communicate with traffic lights to allow them to move through intersections faster. Next, let's look at the amenities that make taking transit more comfortable and convenient. Security cameras, emergency phones, enhanced lighting, push-button heating, ticket machines that take cash or a credit card, signs showing when the next bus will arrive. Learn more at metrotransit.org/BRT.
Excellent. We have a presentation here to show our story with Ubisense. Here's an overview to show the scale of Metro Transit. We have about 81.9 million rides a year, 909 active buses that cover that. That covers about 907 square miles in our 7-county metro area, and we have about 130 routes that cover that. All right. Pre-2009, this was our system for marking up and assigning buses. Personnel would walk the garages and go out with this map and fill in bus numbers. They do it probably about 3 times a day, AM, PM, and then evening after pull-in. And you can see edits within the map, so they would have to go back and redo it because buses would move. Pullouts, we would have to assign the first row and then work our way back. And if anything changed here, this would screw up our pullout and things would get clogged up and buses would leave late. And this is just a snapshot of the day. So half hour after, we have old data. So there had to be a more efficient method. So in 2009, Metro Transit issued an RFP. 3 companies submitted bids. Ubisense was one of them. This was before my time, because I was a user of Ubisense system when I was with Trapeze, because I would show up in maintenance and go, hey, I need to find a bus. And they would show me this map that they had where the buses were. And I was like, hey, cool, you guys have a map. Ubisense was chosen because it could guarantee an accurate or more accurate positioning in the garage to keep the buses in the lane in each of the bays. So Ubisense installed their system. We started with our 5 garages that house our buses. We used battery RFID tags on all the buses. They installed sensors in all the 5 garages. And then we used GPS location from our CAD AVL system. We imported that logs from that that system into Ubisense to show buses that were parked outside the garage. The first generation was not an exact replication of the garage. It was a little crude in its representation, but it did show the buses in the lane. It had colored icons that would show different statuses of the buses. Blue was a foreign bus, white was assigned, green was available, and this is what the dispatchers used to assign. And that was our map through about 2015, and then Transit Yard Manager came about, and it had more true representation of the garage. But the downfall for this was it was a slow loading map, and users would complain about that. But it did give us more business rules and a little cleaner map for the dispatchers to use in maintenance. And about this time, we added some enhancements and additions to the system. We developed hardwired tags. Our battery tags usually have issues in the winter because winters are a little harsh up here. So first cold snap in December, we'd probably have 20 tags in each bus garage go dead. And then we take time to change those out and track those buses down. Those hardwired tags, they're connected directly to the bus battery and gives us more consistent tags. Then we added an interface with Druro Hastis, our scheduling application for bus assignment. And then we also have transit stations that have gate access at Mall of America here and our international airport. We use the new Dimension 4 sensors for bus presence detection. We draw a zone, and once the bus is in there, it detects the bus, and that opens up the gate. And then we added presence detectors to our two other facilities for maintenance, the radio shop and overhaul base. So now we can see a bus throughout all 7 facilities. So in theory, we shouldn't lose a bus anywhere. Then about 2017, we moved into smart transit. They had more business rules, more reporting options, but the map was still slow. Green is a available bus, white is assigned. Blue is a foreign bus, meaning that it's from another garage, and for some reason it showed up at that garage. And then we were able to add red buses here, which are out of service buses. With COVID, our service was reduced and a lot of buses were stored. So anyone looking at the map knew that all the buses up there are out of service and not to use. And our present is SmartSpace. This one again has more business rules. It's much faster. It's more robust. The look and feel is the same as Smart Transit, so it's not a whole lot of training for users when they move to it. The downfall is our garages, we still have our original sensors from 2009. They're not compatible with SmartSpace. Here, this picture shows at our Haywood garage where the new sensors are installed. What we're doing now this week is cutting over from these old to new and configuring the garage and calibrating the new sensors to activate on the new map. And our tags on the buses are usually right here up front. Hardly any issues with them now, with them being hardwired. New projects we currently have going on. We are currently adding the new sensors to all 7 facilities. We have started with 1 garage. We implemented a new Druro Hastis interface that allows more data to be queried from Hastis and allows us to show more data on the map as far as bus status, besides just assigned and unassigned. And we're adding sensors to 2 more gates on our freeway transit stations. That's our story. Thank you, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Rick, thanks. That was great. It's really interesting to see the evolution of what you've been working on from a very paper-based process through the early versions of hardware and software to where you are now with the latest versions of the technology. You mentioned you were previously a user of the system. How important do you think that is to get that user perspective for these types of systems? And has that changed the way that you've approached any of these projects?
I think it helped me. I kind of saw the good and the bad when I was a user. Heard the complaints, what users would say, but when I took over in 2013, I kind of had an idea of what had to be done. Our battery tags were probably the root of the cause. And we worked hard to develop a hardwired tag, and we kind of eliminated that issue.
Fantastic. And just thinking about the future things that are happening there at Metro Transit, we heard from Edmundo at Stellantis about how they're building this real mix of products down there at Vigo, and especially now including electric vehicles. I'm interested to know whether Metro Transit have any plans to electrify the fleet there, and if so, what kind of challenges that might pose for you and the team.
We have 8 now. We had some problems with them. They were grounded for a while. They had some charging issues, so they're just starting to come back online. We have a new garage going up that will house more of the electric, and Ubisense is being installed there. And we might use it for maybe driver guidance when they come in. They'll show the bus where to go. And if the charging stations are full, we can direct it to another lane, and then maybe have some type of notification when the charging station's open that they're notified this bus has to go to charging. So we're still kind of exploring that once we get our buses going here.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I guess the chargers become a really valuable asset, so you want to be able to utilize those as efficiently as possible. Fantastic. Well, thanks again, Rick. We're looking forward to you joining us at the end for the panel debate as well, and the panel Q&A.